So welcome, welcome, welcome to our webinar, Sacred Space and the 3 Keys to Creating a Sacred Sex Life. So I'm Christine Renee. I think a lot of you know me from Moon Rising Institute, and I have been studying sexuality for a really long time. I am a certified sexual education facilitator through Our Whole Lives program. I was also studying midwifery for about 5 years. So I attended like 100 births and was kind of like the go-to person asked for sexuality questions during pregnancy and postpartum and those types of things. And I feel like it's just, it's ever present. Like it's always been part of my world to talk about our whole selves. And this is definitely part of that.
And you've been studying some Tantra.
And I've been studying some Tantra. So I've been studying Tantra for about a year now and really, really enjoying the practices. I think so much of my experience has been in the shamanic Reiki world, and so many of those practices, as soon as you add the movement in, I was like, oh, and now it's a tantric practice. So it was really easy to flow into because that's what it felt like. I'm finally flowing with the energy instead of like forcing the energy.
It's always good to be in flow with energy, but if you're forcing energy, at least you're moving energy.
Right, totally. And this is Jim.
Hi, yes, I'm Jim. So I Tantra is my passion. I am currently studying to be a Tantra teacher. So my official title with the Skydancing Tantra Institute is Tantra Teacher in Training, and I'm about a third of the way through a 2-year program that I've been assisting at workshops with, week-long workshops, weekend workshops, taking week-long courses, doing that sort of thing. I've also led a number of workshops here in Bozeman on intimacy and tantric related stuff. I'm also a licensed chakra dance facilitator, and we do a lot of stuff with energy centers in Tantra as well. So my background there, I've got an MA in philosophy, so I do like to use my mind. I know the mind is sometimes not the most popular thing in in the spirit world, but I've got that, and I'm also in love with you. So there's that. And so we practice together as well.
Absolutely. Yum. So what we're going to be covering tonight is what is Tantra? What is the spiritual side of sexuality? Why create sacred space? What are the 3 keys of Tantra? And then we'll have a practice, a Q&A, and we're also going to tell you a little bit about our masterclass that's coming up. So let's go ahead and dive in.
Okay, so the very first question is what is Tantra? So we're talking about sacred sexuality, and that is associated usually with a field called Tantra. And I'm just going to read this straight up because I wrote it and I like it. So there isn't one right answer.
I wrote that.
She did write that. While Tantra has as many definitions as people practicing, for us, Tantra is an experiential practice of expanding individual aliveness by cultivating our conscious awareness, or Shiva, and energetic flow, or Shakti, using the 3 keys of breath, sound, and movement. And I want to say that yes, you're gonna hear all kinds of definitions of Tantra, but this is what we are coming with. And I want to highlight the word experiential. One reason, even in the webinar, we're doing a practice is you can't just talk about Tantra. You do Tantra. And what that means ends up being whatever you experience through the various ways of practicing. And in my school, Skydancing Tantra, these 3 keys, the Shiva Shakti, the experiential, and the expanding of aliveness are very tied to that school. So I am bringing what I believe in, but I really owe a debt of gratitude to my teachers in Skydancing Tantra. And that lineage really roots in the teachings of a woman named Margot Anand. And if you're curious, you can just look her up. But in this course that we're talking about, we're going to go really deeper into this definition, its history, what makes it unique and different, and maybe some of the other lineages of Tantra. associated with it, so we know where we're placed in this practice, but we're going to focus on practice.
Yeah, absolutely. And know that if you want to hear this slide more fully, our last podcast over on Wisdom Rising was on this. We talked about it for like a full hour. So know that there's so many different angles, so many ways to look at this, so many misconceptions, and this is what we're going to be bringing forward.
Yeah, it's a good podcast, and it's actually only 45 minutes. So
Yeah, it's not even that long. So the spiritual side of sexuality. So each of you are born complete. This is one of the things that I really appreciate about the Tantra perspective is that you are whole just the way you are. There's nothing to fix. We have both the feminine, the Shakti, and the masculine Shiva qualities within us. And so when both aspects of ourselves are fully integrated from our sexual root to our spiritual crown, we fully express our divinity. And then you get to reclaim your birthright as a blissful god or goddess that you are. And that's the foundation of spiritual sexuality. And for me, I find that this is a really beautiful understanding of that you have both within you. It's not that just because I'm female means I'm fully in Shakti energy all the time. We have this balance and this flow of both. And which qualities are we learning how to flow within? And that's a really beautiful part of this practice is really understanding that I'm whole just the way I am and I can express myself all the fullness of who I am and there's nothing to fix. I'm just finding the flow of both of those energies. What do you want to add to that?
yeah, and I want to add that if the words are getting in the way, the Shakti, the Shiva, the god, the goddess, the divinity, I don't think they need to get in the way. I think all we need to do is notice within ourselves that we have different aspects to ourselves. So when we talk about Shakti, we're just talking about energy. We're talking about what we do, how we are, what we feel. And I'm sort of exhibiting it right now if you're watching me on camera through my movement. The other aspect is that we have this quality of holding a container, being contained in this. We use words like grounded, or we use words like I'm holding space. And those are things that we do, right? If somebody comes to us upset, we are the container for their upset. Or we're upset and we find a way to self-regulate, go on with our day, do things like that. And in this class, we'll go deeper into this, but I just want to say that if those are the hangups, I don't think they need to be, because all we have to notice is that we have these qualities in ourselves. And what we're proposing is that when those are well integrated in us, happy things happen.
Happy things happen. Yeah, it's very much like you can recognize, like if you are an energy practitioner or have studied the chakras, you can really recognize how the energy is flowing within you and which qualities these are inviting in and which needs to come into balance. And as you move the energy through, oftentimes it comes to a point where you are having an emotional expression, you're having some type of release, and that allows more fuller energy to be held within your body. So yes, it's this lovely balanced dance of these two energies.
And if that still doesn't mean anything to you, I'm just asking you to trust us, to do these practices and see for yourself what happens. I'm very happy. Are you happy?
Absolutely.
All right.
I was just waiting for you to read the next slide.
Right. I'm not going to read this whole slide, but what we do is we contain everything. So we're talking about containers again. So Shiva principle in something called a sacred space. And a lot of people who do spiritual practices set up something called a sacred space. They set up their altar, they make their room somewhat different than the normal world. And we do that. We do all those things, but we mean something more by that in a tantric practice. What I have learned from my teachers is this beautiful ritual where we share, we create a container and we share these beautiful thoughts with each other. We see the other person as an aspect of the divine. And then we talk about our desires, fears, and boundaries within that. So it's a communication container for us to be able to do all kinds of other practices from within.
Absolutely. And I think the reason why this can be so potent is that it can be utilized in so many different spaces. Yes, maybe you're going to do a sacred space the way we are proposing it before you do a tantric practice. But you can also do it before you go on a big travel, before a shift is happening, if you're going to move somewhere. Like there's all different ways that this can be a very applicable practice, whether you're a practitioner, whether this is in your own individual relationships, whether you're having sacred space with a parent or a child. Like there's so many ways that you can replicate this in different areas of your life. And when it's put into your sacred sexuality, it really gives that an opportunity to speak to your desires, your fears, your boundaries, including what you're consenting to and what you're not consenting to, and all of those things in between, to really make sure that your voice is heard.
And we're going to really look deeply in this and for a full week of our masterclass. Right now, you're getting a taste.
Just a taste. Mwah. You get a little yumminess, right? But you'll get the full picture here soon enough if you join us for the masterclass. So the three keys of Tantra really are about moving energy. They're tools to move energy. And so they're breath, sound, and movement. And so just like I said earlier, when I'm a Reiki practitioner and doing my practice that way, I've been really holding space and really still. And then as soon as I was learning like I've learned these meditations and stillness, and now we're adding the breath, we're adding the sound, we're adding the movement. It's like brings it to a whole new level, because you can really feel that energy move from that sexual root to that spiritual crown. Like you're moving the energy up and through, utilizing these three keys.
Yes, we will have entire weeks devoted to each one of these keys. They're all important, right? We can say energy, 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 but we're not really integrated until we move that energy. In modern society, I would say our sexual core is very unintegrated. But that's not the only part of us that's unintegrated.
Right.
So moving that energy helps us deal with the lack of balances. And if that's too woo for you, we'll just do the practices and see what comes up for you.
Well, and I think that's it. Like things move. Like I remember doing these practices and hitting a spot in my heart center, and it was like, oh, and there's all of this grief. And then you're moving this energy and recognizing, where does the energy want to stagnate? Where does it want to stop? And then you're using these tools, these keys, to kind of bust through that stagnation. And that is just so powerful. It's so incredibly powerful. And so whether you're doing this practice alone as a solo practice or as a couple, both are applicable, but it's about the energy movement from within.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and so now we get to do a practice. And so we want to invite you into this practice. We'll go through questions and have more information at the end, but we'd love to do a practice with you now. All right.
So we're going to
do a mini demo of sacred space. You're not going to see the full thing. If you want to know how to do it for yourself and know how to do all of the components, be sure to join us for the masterclass, but you're going to get a little taste here.
Yes.
And we're going to bring you guys all into the bubbles.
Okay, so let's bring our hands together, but we're going to point our fingertips down towards the earth. On your next inhale, bring your hands up to heart position. With your eyes open, lean as close as you're comfortable to the person's forehead and look in their eyes. Breathe back in, hands to heart position, and breathe out, fingertips back down to the earth. And then we'll create a sacred bubble.
And adding guys
in. And you can have fun with us.
You pat it down, all of the things.
It's sacred, but it doesn't mean it has to be not fun.
Right.
So now we're in our sacred bubble. And like we said, there's a lot more to the ceremony, but we're just going to put ourselves in there and put you all in there as well.
Okay, so this next part is where we remove things from the bubble that doesn't serve us in this time, in this moment. So this might be, I am going to remove the fear of judgment of others. I'm going to take that out of the bubble for me.
I'm going to take out the fear that I'm speaking awkwardly.
I'm going to take out the fear that this is just a performance. It kind of is. So then we're going to call things in. We're going to pull energy and attributes, emotions that we want to have inside our bubble. So I'm going to call in some joy.
I'll call in some joy.
I would like to call in some playfulness.
I call in love.
Oh, yeah, please. I'm going to call in my spirit guides.
I'm going to call in authenticity.
Ooh, and vulnerability. I think I'm good.
Good too.
Okay. We're going to do a breath work exercise. And the reason why I wanted to bring this in is because it's such an easy one to follow along with, and you can visualize it yourself. So we want to invite you into this practice as well. So if you're watching, if you're listening, feel free to note how the energy moves in your own body. Notice how your body feels, how your body moves naturally. And so this is a breathwork practice that's a Taoist tradition. And we inhale up the back and exhale down the front. And so this is about moving the energy through this loop system from your root chakra, where if you get to the very physicality of root chakra, it's at your perineum. And so you're bringing that energy, inhaling it up the back, exhaling down the front. So it's going up the back, looping over your crown chakra, and then exhaling down. And on that exhale, it's a really beautiful release. It's like everything that no longer serves me in this time and in this moment, I'm letting it go. I'm bringing it down to the earth. So I'm inhaling up all of these blessings from Mother Earth, from Pachamama, whatever you want to tangibly feel into it. You're inhaling it up and exhaling, releasing what no longer serves you. Okay, so if it helps to move your hands to kind of guide your practice, go for it. But we're going to do a couple breath work loops to see how that feels for everyone. And then we'll talk about it. We'll add in another element and keep going.
So why are we doing breath?
Because it's one of the Tantra 3 keys, and it is a very amazing energy mover.
Okay. Seems self-evident to me, but if you have questions about it, bring it up in the chat.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So we're going to just notice your inhale. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Just a few more breaths this way. And then noticing what you noticed as you did the basics of this breath work. Noticing how energy moved, what your emotions were like, if you felt silly about it, whatever it may be, just noticing what you noticed.
Yeah, you may have felt nothing at all, and that's fine too. A lot of our practices are just about noticing. If you felt something great, you don't feel something great.
I think for me, what I notice right away when I start with breath work, and a lot of this I think is muscle memory for me, is that when I start breathing, my mind becomes quiet. It becomes calming. And so then I'm at a calm space in my heart. I'm a calm space in my body. And I'm not thinking of 10 things at once. Like if you saw how many tabs open I have on my internet browser, that's kind of how my brain works sometimes. And so I have a lot of things going on. And when I actually bring in the breath, I'm thinking about the way the energy is moving. I'm actually visually feeling the energy, like I'm envisioning what it's like to have the energy move up in this pattern, and using my hands to guide the practice keeps me focused.
Yeah, and that's one breathwork practice, right? There's many different breathwork practices.
Thousands.
Even in this course, we'll only get to some of them. And some of them are more calming, and some of them are more energetic. This was a very calm one, and it does that. There are other ones where you really feel deep in your body because you're changing the pace,
Mhm.
you're moving other parts of your body with the breath,
Yeah.
and um, that can really
Shake things up.
shake things up, and it can bring up big emotions,
Mhm.
it either happy or sad or
All
anything
of
in
it.
between.
Yeah.
It can bring up all kinds of things, right? So in this case, we're just getting a taste, and this is a very
Mhm.
grounding breath.
Mhm.
But we may
Absolutely.
also do breaths that really charge you and can go much faster.
Yes. Yeah. And sometimes those are like activating your own natural DMT in your lungs. And so you might be having visions at the same time. And so it can, there's like, here's the basic, and then it just becomes more and more, I want to say profound. Like the practice itself can get bigger. Even with this one, there's ways to hold your body in a certain way to lock the energy in, and then you're like power washing your chakras from the inside. Like there's more and more layers to this, and we just wanted to offer a very easy practice that you guys could follow along with very quickly. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to add in sound to that.
Sound is a hard one for a lot of people to access. Maybe in some families, people yell and scream at each other. But in most cases, we're taught to repress our voice a lot. Don't talk until it's your turn to talk. Don't don't speak out of turn. Stay quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Only speak if you have something useful to say. We're afraid in a lot, especially I would say in white American culture,
Mm-hmm.
to be to make noise. But making that sound can really move energy.
Right.
And again, a lot of the work is noticing how you feel. So
Mm-hmm.
we can do a sound practice that doesn't feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And it may not sound comfortable when we're doing it because I'm conscious that I'm in a quiet room with a mic,
Mm-hmm.
not sure how it's going to come out on
On the
on the
recording.
recording.
Yeah.
And yet, if I really want to move that energy, the more I can let that go and allow the sound to come out, especially in tandem with breath, because you can't make sound without breath.
Mm-hmm.
Allowing it to come out is is powerful.
It's powerful. And one of the things that you can do with your lips to help enhance that inhale is make a sucking sound. So you're literally sucking that energy up and in. So as you're breathing up your back, you're sucking it up and then exhaling. That exhale can just be a simple sigh. It can be a moan. It can be whatever needs to come out.
Be loud.
It can be loud, it can be soft, it can be anything that feels good to you. And I think this is so much of like practicing our voice, practicing our sound is so important, because if we are trying to be in a sacred sexual practice with a partner, being able to communicate and use your voice, this is a very great way to help clear the throat chakra. So if you have energetic stagnations in the throat center and the throat chakra, this is a really great way to clear it out so that you can really feel free to express yourself, however that looks.
You didn't want me to flirt with you, but it sure is.
Okay. All right, shall we try it? Okay, so once again, we're doing the
Okay.
same breath work. We're going to invite you to do it with us. So if you're listening, if you're watching, feel free to energetically breathe with us. Use your hands if you need to. Make the sound. I'm going to encourage you to practice too.
Especially on the exhale, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's usually when it would come out.
And,
Yep.
and notice what you notice happening in your body when you do it. All right. All right, here we go.
Okay.
more time. And like, I'm ready to bring in the movement, right? Right. So notice what you notice once again, just noticing how it feels to bring in the sound. Notice if it brought in being self-conscious. Notice if it brought in being like, oh my God, I love this. I wish I could do this more often. Whatever it was, just notice what that was for you.
Yes, what I noticed was that same calming breath suddenly felt a little more charged
Mhm,
having the breath. Also, having other sounds near me
mhm,
added to that charge as well.
mhm. My hands are tingly. Right? Like you're getting so much oxygen in the body. And so know too that if you feel something that feels uncomfortable, you all you have to do is slow it all down. You can
Right.
slow down your breath and then you can notice what that feels like.
All of this works in the noticing.
Mhm.
It may not feel good. You may not feel charged. You may feel negative things come up. You may feel coffee you drank or something else moving in your gut. Tantra is in the noticing of the feeling.
Yeah.
The practice is only to evoke the deeper noticing.
Hmm.
And in that deeper noticing, the more you can feel calm in that,
Hmm.
the more you will be integrating.
Yeah.
You may not feel good, but you can feel calm in not feeling good. You
Right.
may feel really good. Can you feel calm in not in feeling really good?
Right.
Can you notice both the allowing of the energy, that Shakti, and that Shiva?
Hmm. Well, what I noticed is that my
Hold on.
jaw got tense. Like whether it was the way I was holding my mouth or that this is a throat chakra energy release or whatever it is, like I'm noticing that my jaw is tense. And so it's not something that I need to fix. It's just, oh, look, there's that. There's that. There's an element there, right? Yeah. Beautiful. Okay.
So movement.
Movement. We're gonna add in movement.
What do you want to say about movement?
I love this part because if you can notice the difference between breath and sound, imagine like this is just gonna it's just adding in more of that energetic motion to it. So when you move, you can move any way that feels good to you, but you can do a spiral and like you're spiraling the energy up through the chakras. You can undulate the spine so that you're literally bringing the energy up from root all the way to crown. You can move back and forth. You can move your hips to a figure eight. There's all different kinds of ways to move. And energetically, you're saying it's an invitation of bringing that earth energy up your body and exhaling it down and noticing what you notice as you add movement into the practice.
It doesn't even have to have a pattern at all.
Mm-mm.
And if you notice, we already were bringing in movement just by moving our hands, right?
Mhm.
We were bringing in movement. But if you can also just see if some movement naturally arises, and it
Mhm.
can be whatever
It can be
comes
chaotic,
forward.
right? It's all gonna be supportive.
And if you don't feel movement, I would suggest maybe forcing it a little just to try it.
Mhm.
But if it comes up naturally, fantastic.
Yeah.
We're trying to get to a place that feels natural.
Right.
But if it doesn't feel natural, in my teaching,
Mhm.
you should fake it till you make it. You
Mhm.
should try movement because that can be an edge for people also.
Right. Just like sound can be an edge for some people. So I know for me as an energy practitioner, like when I'm doing Reiki, my body will vibrate. Like I can already feel my body doing this. This is my normal energetic movement. Like I'm tapped in, here we go. Right. And so it's noticing if it comes through very small and subtle, or if you want to invite bigness and noticing how it feels to just, where are you calm? And where can you find that growth edge of like, what if I moved a little bit more? How would that feel? Do I feel safe and secure in my body and my environment to invite that in?
Okay, shall we do another? So we're going to do that same practice
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to do breath. We're going to keep the sound and we're going to invite in even more movement if it arises.
Yeah. So join with us, okay? Inhaling up the back, exhaling down the front. Ah. Ah, 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 ah.
Oh.
Ah, ah, ah. More breath. Ah. One more. Ah. And noticing what you notice. Notice what element that brought in.
I need a breath to reground for some.
You're bringing your energy up. It's going higher and higher,
I,
oftentimes.
and you notice, I mean, I was vaguely aware that her movements, I think, were a little bigger than mine. And sometimes it can be really subtle. You can barely notice the movement.
Mhm.
As long as you have the intention of movement, to me, it's movement.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And in a class, we might not just connect it. We may do some other kinds of movement
There's,
as
yeah,
well.
there's lots of different ways to bring in these three keys
Right.
and different ways to elicit that energy within. Yeah, so the tingling, it may feel good, it may feel abnormal. Notice what you notice. I definitely am there. And I also have this little tingling at like my third eye crown. Like I could feel that I was bringing the energy all the way up into that third eye crown space, right? And so this is part of the healing side of Tantra work is that you're energetically moving this energy all the way through your body. Hmm.
Yeah, when you mentioned the third eye, I could feel it because there's all kinds of ways we can do this. We can have a continuous breath.
Mhm.
We can do pauses. And sometimes in the pauses, you start, I feel floaty.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
we could do it with no pauses. We can change the speed, and
Mhm.
we can also invite other kinds of movement
With it.
and sound with it.
Yeah.
Because you can do mantras,
Oh, for
we can be
sure.
dancing, we could
Yes.
be doing all kinds of
All kinds of fun things.
things.
Yeah.
And we will be doing all kinds of fun things.
Definitely.
So one of our participants said that the sound felt more energetic.
hmm Yeah. Like you're adding in that, okay, this is more and this is more. Feel like part of me, for me, what Tantra is an invitation to be more of who you are, more of fullness of yourself. And so I had a lot of years where I felt like I must be too much. Like I had like a lot of too much qualities. And the Tantra's like, oh yeah, be all of that. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yes, yeah. Great. Okay. This fantastic.
Right. We're saying all of you is welcome.
Mhm.
All of you. Negative emotions, positive emotions, all of you.
Mhm.
We're not preferencing one. That's why we're talking about every aspect being within you. We divide it into the masculine and feminine, but we don't have to divide it that way.
Mhm.
We can divide it all kinds of ways, and some people may feel uncomfortable with that division. That's okay. Whatever it is that you are, allow that in. And the
Mhm.
more you allow it in, my belief is the more blissful you are.
Right. And this is all about like cultivating an ecstatic life and really feeling completely alive in your world and your experiences and what's going to help you cultivate that. And it's like a muscle. If you're practicing this, how do you live life fully? How can you speak up your truth? How can you feel your heart open? How can you recognize when something is turning you on and you're like, oh, I want to explore that? Like all of that is like the freedom and liberation that you can experience with Tantra practices. All right. Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit about our masterclass coming up. I'm pulling up my calendar to make sure I get the dates right. So we start on November 5th, and we're going to go for 5 weeks. And on the week of Thanksgiving, we're going to have just office hours. So if you want to have a quick check-in with us, if you have questions, we're not going to hold a class at night because it's the day before Thanksgiving. And if you're traveling or with family, like we get it. So we are going to step into this space together of learning how to create sacred space. We're going to have that's going to be 1 week, just sacred space, how to have containers. We're going to do the full practice with all of the elements and really give you the understanding of why this is so potent and beautiful to add into your own sacred sex life, whether this is for doing it with yourself or with a partner. And then we're going to move into the 3 keys. And so each week we're going to be focusing on one of the 3 keys. So the first week will be on, after sacred space, will be breath, then sound, then movement, as we did tonight. But we're going to be able to bring in so much more because we're going to have a 2-hour class to work within. And so each week we're going to be creating a sacred container to demo that, doing somewhat of a sacred space bubble. We're going to be giving some kind of short mini lesson and then dive into practices, because that's really where the work is when you actually can feel it in your body. So that's so important. And then the 5th week is going to be a Q&A. How do you cultivate that sacred sex life? How do you move these energies within? Any of your further questions, or if there's a commonality in the group of like, I would really love you guys to cover this aspect, or how can I have couple practices, or whatever it may be, we're going to be able to answer those questions
Yeah,
for
it
you
could be
guys.
questions around sexuality,
Mhm.
how those tie in, other
Mhm.
things.
All of it. It's really kind of like we're holding space for that last week to be your interests, and then we can dive into those
But
practices.
this is an intro
This is an
class.
intro class.
So we're not doing any,
There's no nudity. There's no sexual demos of any kind. It will really, we really want to give you guys a taste and a flavor of why this can be so enhancing for your life. And then if you want to do further work, then please let us know.
yes, please let us know
There you go.
on those things for
I
sure.
mean, ideally, we'd love to do some retreats. We want to do
Absolutely.
workshops. We want to do all like private one-on-ones. Like all these things are in the realm of possibility. And there's only so much we can do on Zoom, but we want everyone to know how much this is a game changer in your individual life and your relationship. Like I know for me, when I started Tantra, it was an individual practice. And I was like, holy crap, what was that? I think every woman needs to know this, because it happened to be a woman's Tantra retreat that I was at, right? And ever since then, I can't stop talking about it. Like, I've been moving energy and been very excited about moving energy for 20 years of my life. And now bringing in this element has really illuminated, expanded, liberated so many areas within myself that I'm very excited to share that with students, clients, the world, whatever it may be.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I believe all of these applications, just doing this course, I believe you'll feel a difference. And then it sets you up for even deeper study. But just doing these basics, I do these basics all the time.
Mhm.
And I find them extremely helpful. Just the sacred space tool
Yeah,
alone
it's worth the cost.
is a transformational
Yeah,
tool for me.
absolutely.
Bringing in breath, movement, and sound. I mean, movement, dance changed my life.
Hmm.
Dance helped me in so many positive ways. But there are then applications that we could apply to both to a sex practice, because our society is sexually
Yeah,
repressed. We're not
absolutely.
going to we're not going to do that exactly in the course, but we can talk about how those things apply. I think maybe you can get a sense of how they might apply.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the master class. It's going to be on my school platform. So if you're new to me, I'm the director, founder, creator of Moon Rising Shamanic Institute, and we have a lovely circle app that we can post resources, material, pre-recorded videos, all of the call replays. on a platform so that you can easily go through it. It's an app on your phone. So you want to watch the replay, you missed a call, whatever it may be, and do practices again and again with yourself or with your partner. That will all be really easy from the app. Yeah. So I'm available. Jim's available. You can reach out to us on social media platforms where I'm sure you found us. And if you have questions, let us know. We'd love to be able to meet your needs and see where you're at and what you're comfortable with. Like, we really want to create a space that can be supportive for where you are in your journey and make you feel like you can be as comfortable joining with us. Thanks everyone for coming on. Is there anything else you want to share?
It's just a delight to do stuff with you.
I know, it really is.
It really is.
It really is. So Jim's been gone for a couple weeks and we have barely got to see each other yet. And so we're talking on the phone on his drive back and we're like, what are we doing for this webinar? What do you want to do? And it was the sweetest moment of like, he's been practicing facilitating for his Tantra teacher training for 2 weeks. And then he's like, wow, you're so easy to plan with. You're so easy to facilitate with. And I'm like, oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, I've been facilitating with some lovely people and had some great practices, but it's a lot different doing with someone who knows you inside and out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I think that when you're used to each other and the practice, right before we came on, Jim asked me, hey, do you have any desires, fears, and boundaries for this webinar? And, even like we didn't do a full sacred space, but it's
to close this one.
It's a common language that is now normalized for us to use. And we do need to close our sacred bubble. So that's good. So what we're gonna do is, once again, we're gonna face each other and we're gonna pop the bubble for all of us, but we want to invite you to do it too. So we are gonna pop our bubble in 3, 2, 1, and pop. Let that all fall away. And one final heart salutation. Inhaling up to heart. Exhale. Inhale up. And exhale. All right. So much love and gratitude for all of you for taking the time this evening to come and join us for this webinar. Lots of love. Have a great rest of your week. And we will see you next time. Lots of love, everyone.
Bye.